What's going on, everybody? This is Justin with Me, Myself, and Dice, a channel dedicated to solo board games. And today, I'm coming with a very special playthrough of Too Many Bones Solo. Yes, right. Too Many Bones was the 2020 new to me best game of the year. And I have fallen even more in love with that since I made that video, link right there. And I really promised that I would do a playthrough and a tutorial of how to play this game solo when we reached 500 subscribers. And thanks to you guys, we have done that in spades, and I am just so amazed and so honored. So one of the things that I wanted to do to make this video special, because we're going to play this game many times on this channel, this is just the first, and I want to be able to point back to this video and say, this is, if you're new to the game, the rules and the tutorial, so that from here on out we can just play the game and do new challenges, explore new characters, and all that kind of fun stuff that this game has to offer. But when I was starting out, I actually didn't like the game the first couple times I played it. It was confusing, it was hard, it was frustrating, it was almost too many options. And I looked for a video that I couldn't find that was a good primer on the best way to get the best experience when playing your first solo game. So I set out to make this video exactly that. Going back through my playthroughs and looking, I think that this was the best experience that I had playing solo and what I have suggested to others who have had a positive experience playing solo on these recommendations. So today we'll be playing Too Many Bones, two-handed solo. We'll go through setup, we'll go through the rules. I'm splitting this video into several parts, but we're going to play through the whole game. So what are we waiting for? Thanks to getting to 500 subscribers, let's get down to the table and play Too Many Bones. Welcome down the table, everyone, for our first game of Too Many Bones. Now, as I said up top, this is a game that I hope to play many times over the lifetime of this channel, and this game is going to be a game that we can point back to if someone's new to the game. We can put a card in future playthroughs and not have to go through the rules. So this will be a tutorial, but we will play through a whole game. And as I mentioned, I am setting up this tutorial for the video that I looked for when I first started playing Too Many Bones, of how I would suggest someone starts their first solo game playing Too Many Bones. Since this will be a tutorial, let's start with setup just so that we can see how things work and how things are put together. I think that really helps with understanding the game. So the first thing is I have my mats for my two characters. Everything that you see here is going to be from the base box with maybe one exception. So I have two characters out, Picket and Patches, and I do suggest playing with two characters for your first solo game. So one of the things that I realized is I want to see as much of the game as possible when playing the first game. So that's kind of the goal we're getting. We're not worried about winning or losing, but trying to see as much of the game as possible and get a really good feel while learning the rules. So I do suggest two Gearlocs. And out of the base box, I would suggest Picket and Patches because I think they're, one, the most straightforward. And when you're juggling, knowing the rules and learning the rules and all of the mental things that come along, I think that these are the two easier ones for your first time. Also, they complement each other really well. Patches is going to be our healer, also kind of our damage dealer in terms of straight out attack, while Picket's going to be more of our defensive character. So we have those. We have the battle mat that looks like this set up. You're going to want to also grab the 4 lane chips right here, along with the 4 corresponding initiative die. We'll also have the loot and trove loot cards all shuffled up, ready within easy reach. You're going to need the day counter, which is just this chip right here. This mat does not come in the game. This is kind of the adventure mat, I think it's called. For visual purposes and in terms of keeping track of things, it is a little bit easier to see on camera. So we are going to use this, but it does not come in the base box. It is, I think, an add-on separate. And it does come with a little token that's kind of clear and really hard to see in my test film. So I just grabbed a red meeple that shows up nice and bright. We're going to use that as our progress marker. We're going to start them in Obendar right here. So we want to pick our big bad tyrant, and that's going to be Drellin. Now, Drellin is who I suggest you play against on the first game. It's not that he's easier or harder in terms of defeating him. He's pretty difficult, but he is a little more straightforward in his shenanigans and his abilities. So I think that it's just a little less to keep up with on your first game. And two, it really comes down to this, the game length. Now I made the mistake of playing against shorter game length characters and tyrants and thinking that would be easier way to introduce myself to the game. Shorter does not mean easier. In fact, I argue that it makes it harder because you really have to streamline how you build your characters. You really only have one shot, and there's really not much in the way of flexibility and room to make mistakes. So, and there's definitely no room for exploration. However, a longer game length character, if you totally do get hosed, you don't have 2-3 hours of gameplay where you're just getting beat down, beat down, beat down. If you just totally get hosed and you start to grab it and you want to just start it over, this is easy to start over and you haven't lost too much time. So I think drilling is a great place to start. So one thing we're going to want to look at is these icons down here. This determines what baddies we pull out of the box, shuffle into their respective stacks. We have this icon right here, that is 10 days. So that's the symbol for days. We have 10 days to defeat Drellin. If we do not defeat him within 10 days, then we just outright lose. But this number up here in the cog is progress points. We cannot even attempt to fight him until we gain 6 progress points through our adventure. So we want to grab also his chip. Now there's information on the back of his chip. It's all common information. There's information on the back of the card. You're welcome to look at this at any point in time. You're actually going to want to probably build towards these tyrants. So we take his chip, and this is where this map comes into play. We need 6 progress points, so following along a path, this is 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So he's going to go in this circle here. We'll just put his chip there. Now this just shows we cannot even try to attack him until we reach right here. There also is, with each tyrant, a special encounter card, or more. There could be more, but with Drellin there's only one special tyrant encounter card. You're going to want to pull that out as well, and we'll just put that to the side. He's going to go over here, and you'll want to pull out, each tyrant has a unique die to them, which just gives them more shenanigans for them to do against us. Next, you want to go in and pull out the encounter card deck. Now it's going to be a pretty big deck compared to this. You're going to want to look at the bottom, pull out any ones that say solo, and since we're playing 2, we're going to only use the general encounter cards. So you'll pull all those, separate all of those, and then shuffle them up and deal out the number 3 less than the number here. So I went ahead and did that. I shuffled them all up and dealt out 7. So there's 7 in the stack here randomly. You'll want to then go in and pull out the special encounter cards numbers 1, 2, and 3 and set them to the side, keeping them in order. You'll take the tyrant encounter card and you'll notice that it pops out. So I just flip it backwards, shuffle it in without really looking at it as quickly as possible. And then I take whatever my vessel is going to be, which is this leaning deck box right here, so that it stays nice and neat and I can't see it. You take the 3 in order special encounter cards, 1, 2, and 3, put them on top, and then they give you this nice little cover card. I just place that on top so I don't accidentally see it, and that's building the encounter deck. Pretty fast, pretty simple. We make sure our day marker is set to 1. There's a little dash right here. We grab a couple of reference sheets. The first one is going to be the Gearloc Adventuring Reference Guide. These are all nice, plasticky card stock, and this is going to be all of your kind of rules, reminders, in your reference sheet throughout the game. You're going to use it a lot, so you're going to want to have that nearby. And then you'll also want to grab the reference sheet for the Gearlocs you use. So in this case, patches and picket, and these have rules on them that are not in the rule book, but has all of the information about all their skills and abilities and all kinds of things on it. We're going to be using these a lot, so make sure you have those handy. The final thing we need is page 23 of the rulebook. This is not on the reference sheet, but this is where you pick your adventuring level. Now, for your first game, I do highly suggest that you pick the adventurer level. Again, it does make things a little easier, but it's more about you get to see more stuff. You get to build your Gearlocs up a little bit more, and that's a lot of the fun of this game. And once you have seen and kind of understand your Gearlocs, then you can embrace the challenge of it. So we're not going to do that though. I am a little more experienced, so to add a little bit of maybe I can't do this, I'm going to go on heroic adventure, or I call it normal level. So with this we go add 1 to your Gearloc's HP stat before starting day 1 and gain 1 training point before starting day 1. And that's our accommodations for this level, so we know what that is, and then you can put this to the side for reference. So we make sure that we have our trays that correspond with our Gearlocs, and we're going to start with adding 1 to our health. Their health is right here on their mat. Both start with 5, and to add 1 we take one of these dice right here and we just plop it down with an extra 1. So 5 plus 1 equals 6. Same over here, right there. We also give them 1 experience point each. If any of you ever watched any of my videos before, you know I like to use dice to keep track of things. These are just good reminders because when playing solo, sometimes I'll go back and forth a little bit on picking their skills. But right now each one has 1 experience or 1 training point each. Now this is where people get a little lost at the very beginning even, is just what do I do now? But if you look at the back of their sheets, they have this beginner build strategy guide right here. And this tells you whenever you get lost, or if you just want them to walk you through a game of building a character, this is really good. Even when I learn a new character, I'll definitely start using this. So let's start with that right now. It says stats. Beginner building stats, a dex, and another attack die are Patch's first priorities. So for Patches, they suggest getting another dexterity die. So let's do that. Let's add 1 to his dexterity, bring him up to 3. Picket is going to say bump up Picket's dex to 3 first and foremost. So let's do that. We'll bump him up to 3, and that's our training points. We are ready to go on our adventure. And what we do is all laid out right here on the top of the Gearloc Adventure Reference Guide. So we start a new day. On every other turn, we're going to turn the time counter, but we're starting on day 1, so we don't need to do that. And this is a nice flow chart of what to do. So we go down to new encounter, and we draw and resolve an encounter card. So we go here, we skip the cover, and we grab the first one. Now, remember how we built this. This is always going to be the same every game. Now, if you add expansions, it adds other special encounter number 1 cards, but for the base game, it's always going to be this. So you always know what to expect. So leaving Obendar, only 12 hours till dawn and the send-off ceremony that will no doubt change the lives of every remaining Gearloc and likely every life in Delor. Weapons and supplies are ready to go, but the night is young and adrenaline fills the veins. It's clear no sleep will be had tonight. There's sure to be some shady peddlers in dark alleys ready to deal in loot. Then again, some last-minute training could pay a nice dividend by morning. So, what to do, what to do. The first thing we do is we flip the card over and we look and see what our choices are. So most cards are going to have a couple to 3 choices, and we look at the icons right here. That means that it is a non-combat set of choices. So we can either squeeze in some last-minute self-improvement or shake down a shady peddler. Now down here under this line is if you succeed, these are the rewards you get. And then over here in these circles are going to be rewards you receive for that choice. So we're going to get 1 progress point no matter which choice we choose. But if we choose this choice, it even tells you gain 2 training points per Gearloc. Here we gain 1 training point for each Gearloc, and each party member receives a loot. So all good things. Well, there's no real wrong choice here. Both are fantastic. I like my training points. So we're going to choose number 1. We are going to do squeeze in some last minute self-improvement, and each Gearloc gets 2 training points. So looking back at Picket's strategy, I think we want to add 1 more defense to his. Now you saw when we added dex and health, we just plopped 1 down. No big deal. You can always do that when upgrading your health and dexterity. However, when it comes to attack and defense, it works a little differently. You actually have to train for this. So the way you do that is you look at the current defense, which is 2, and you grab that many either defense or attack die, in this case defense. Let's look at them real quick. We have 1s and 2s of shields here, and then this has 2 bones on it. Bones are just misses. We'll talk a little bit more about how you can use those in special ways later, but they're misses for all intents and purposes. So when training, we want to roll as many success, or complete successes actually. So we're going to roll these and see if we succeed. We rolled 1 bone. Well, because the chances are higher with defense die, you get to re-roll your bones once. So, we succeed. Now, if we didn't succeed, if I'd rolled another bone, it doesn't matter what the numbers are, we succeed. If I'd rolled another bones on my re-roll, then we wouldn't lose the training point. We would just have to train in something else. We could move it to attack or gain a skill or bump up health or dexterity. But the case is we did succeed, so we're going to use one of our training points and we're going to bump up our defense. So we'll just take one of these dice here, bump that up to 3. I think we're going to do the same thing over here with Patches. It says on his build strat, attack. So we want him to be our attacker anyway. He only has 1 attack die, so let's try to change that. Now you don't get a reroll with attack die because there is only 1 bones on the entire die. So you're more likely to succeed, and we did. So we put 1. He has now 2 attack dice. Now we could continue building up their main stats. That's very important, but also I know it seems a little bit boring with all these colorful other dice here. So let's go back, and you'll notice that in the beginner build strat, there's advice for stats and there's advice for skills. So this says for picket, choose the captain profession for early game. If we turn this over, we'll see all of these dice are categorized into different colors. You have the red, the purple, the orange, the blue, and then the yellow is always consumable dice, which doesn't fall into a profession. Each color is going to be a profession. So this is captain, hero, protector, and warden. So it said the captain profession first and foremost. Well, there's a number beside the dice that has, so 1, 2, 3, and 4 that correspond with the 16 dice that are individually numbered up here. Each die has a number on it corresponding. So notice that under the captain, there's a star beside stand ground. And if you look at their sheet, there's a star here as well under stand ground, and there's some arrows. This is their skill tree. You can see it over here with med kit right here too. In order to get fast hands, we first have to have med kit. In order to get bone saw, we have to have fast hands med kit first. In order to get zap pack, we have to have med kit, fast hands, med pack, and then we can get zap pack. So there's a skill tree that's going on here. So you have to start with one of the starred to start that profession. Now some professions don't have that on other ones, or down here you can start with any of the 4 in warden. But let's start with captain. We're going to gain our stand ground die. So that is die number 1. It has all around the sides, it has reusable bones. So bones can't be bad if this is one of your skills. But it also has what we're trying to gain, which is this infinite gain 1 at the beginning of your turn health. So it has that on 2 sides. So we're going to just take that, slot that there. That's our 2 skill points. For patches, we're going to do the same thing. Skills, it's very simple. Med kit first. Yes, I would agree with that. Med kit first. So that is his number 1 die as well. It has a healing ability on it. It can heal for 2 or 3 or 1. So we always want that 3. So that goes right there. That's his second training point. And we go down here and we get 1 progress point. So we're leaving open hour. Boop, 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 boop. And that's it for the encounter. So we can put that over here. Let's go back to our adventure routine. New encounter, yes. Did we succeed? Yes, we did. We got our training points. We logged our progress right there. So we go to the flowchart up to recovery phase. Lock picking, loot trading, and individual options. So all of that is down here right below this. So we can trade loot within our party. Well, we don't have any loot to trade. We can make a lock picking attempt. We don't have any locks to pick. So now each Gearloc gets that's a team option, gets to choose one of these 3 individual options. So we can rest and recover up to full HP. Well, we're at full HP. We can search for better loot, but we have to discard a loot. Again, we don't have any, so we can't discard any to search for better. So then we can roll a d6 and we can scout the area. So the game comes with a d6, but I like using in this game the Metal One Stop Co-op Shop D6. If you haven't checked out their channel, man, they're so good. Such wonderful, wonderful people. And since they play a lot of solo games, I thought this was a perfect game to put this in. So we're going to start with picket and roll this. The icon for One Stop is a 1, not a 6. I made that mistake the first time. Makes sense when I think about it. So we roll and we got a 1. So on a 1 to 3, he gets to scout a 1-point baddie. So we have our baddies all shuffled up over here in this tray. We have 1s, 5s, and 20s. Again, according to the icons down here on Drellin. So we're going to set those there, and he's going to scout a 1-point baddie. So from this 1-point baddie stack, you pull the first one, you look at it, and you decide what you want to do with this. So we know that this dude is coming. This is a clay golem. There's a lot of stuff on here. We'll go through that when we get to a battle, but he's got a lot of health, and he has this nasty break ability. But you know what? I think we're going to put him in the front. So we can either discard him behind everything, and there's a chance he could come back around, but we could avoid him, but we don't know what's coming next. So there's worse things in this. So we're going to slot him right in front, and we do it face up so that we know he's coming. So that's the scouting for picket. Let's do it for patches, and he rolls a 3. Either way, we're going to scout a 1-point baddie. So we take the next one behind it, and we have, oh, the Goblin Bomber. Well, I'll just tell you that I do not like his mischief, and he's ranged, so he's a pain. He's not got a lot of health, but still, health isn't everything. So actually, I'm just going to discard him. I'm going to put him back here in the back. So we know one that's coming. We have that one right here. And we discarded one. We kind of avoided one and snuck past it. So we've done our individual options. We go to a new day. That's it. That's a round. It's very, very simple, very straightforward. So start off by turning the day marker. We're in day 2. We pull out our second adventure card. Again, this is going to be the same, the first 3. And we have hardly out the gate. 15 steps into the journey. 15 steps, and already a Gearloc boot is struck through by an arrow. Luckily, no toes were killed. Teeth are clenched, and a painful tug is made while looking around in embarrassment. Yow! Now sufficiently ticked, it's time to return the favor to the ominous figures at the edge of the woods. A commotion breaks out atop the city wall, interrupting all thoughts. Guards have now spotted the brazen intruders and are notching their arrows. Their help is at the ready. Like it or not, this adventure is now underway. So we have guards gathering here that could assist us, and we have an ominous presence here that has shot us through the boot. So our options on the back are, if you notice, this is the symbol for combat options. So both are going to be combat options. We can hail the guards for more help, or it's time to show Obendar what Gearlocs are made out of. Now, it says under the star here, this option is recommended for your first adventure, and I highly suggest doing that. However, since it's not my first adventure and I'm a glutton for punishment, I'm going to take a chance on this second, because if I lose, then I get to show you what that's like. But you'll notice the difference is you still get, if you succeed in this one or this one, you still get all of this down here. 1 progress point, 1 training point per Gearloc, and 1 loot per Gearloc. However, if you do the second choice, I get a second training point for each Gearloc. So that sounds really good to me. And that'll make up for not being on the easier difficulty where I would have gotten 2 training points. So we will put this here, and we are going to take the second option. So it says down here, our instructions are the BQ is made up of baddie points. So the BQ is the baddie queue. So let's grab all of our baddies in this tray right here, and we need to make a battle queue out of baddie points. Now baddie points are very simple. the number of the day you're on, so 2 times the number of Gearlocs, so 2, is 4. You always pick the highest chip you can. So if we were on day 3, for instance, doing a battle, we would have 3 times 2 is 6, so we would grab a 5-point baddie and a 1-point baddie. As it stands, we're going to grab the first 4 1-point baddies. And we need to place them on the mat. So, we start with the top one. We know what that one is. It is our clay golem. So let's look a little more closely at what is on his chip now. You have this beautiful artwork. He rolls 1 attack die. There's no defense dice underneath it. He has 5 health. His initiative is 2. He is melee. He is of that symbol there, and this is going to be his target icon, and this is his ability right there, break. So what we do is we first give him 5 health. Let's give him 5 health chips right there. We need to, he's the first one we pulled, so he's going to go in lane 1. You grab the blue lane 1 chip. This is lane 1 here. And he'll go on top of it, and he has an initiative of 2, so you set this count up die to 2 and put it right in the initiative meter. So he's melee. Melee is going to go in this row. Ranged is going to go in this row, so he goes right there. So let's go ahead and draw the next one. The next one is going to go in lane 2, no matter what it is. So we have we have our dire wolf pup. So this little pup is 3 health, 3 initiative. It is melee, rolls 1 attack die, has lashback 1 as his ability. So let's get it 3 health. Put lane 2 on there. He's melee, he's going right there, and he has initiative of 3. Now in this game, the higher the number goes first. So he's going to go before this clay golem. Keeping it going, we have a Griffin Yearling with flight. He has 2 health, not terrible, but he's very fast. 5 initiative, and he's got a decent attack for a level 1. So 2 attack, and he also is melee. So he's going to go in lane 3 over here. And he gets 2 health chips. He goes right there, and he goes at a speed of 5. So he's going to go way up here. That's really fast. Really fast. So then for lane 4, we have our mischievous goblin sandbagger. Now he also has 2 health. Let's go ahead and grab that. And he has 4 initiative. We've already got that set. So it's going to go in here. Now if ever they tie, then let's say he had a 3 initiative instead, he would actually go under the purple because he came out. The ties, it comes out in order that they come out. So 4 initiative, he has 1 attack and 1 defense. Mischief 1 if he misses. That's what that bones means. He is ranged. So we'll put him here. He goes in lane 4, but he's going to go way back here. Now both of our heroes, Gearlocs, are at 6 health. So we're going to grab their chips here and stack them like that. And then we need to, out of their trays, grab their initiative dice. And we'll just leave those on the map from here. So instead of placing their initiative die, we actually roll them. So let's take a look at Patches. All around the sides, he's a 3. And then he has a 4 on one side and a 4 on the other. So he's going to be either 3 or 4, most likely 3. Picket has, I think, 3 3s, a 2, and a 5. So, or 4 3s, a 2, and a 5. So he's most likely going to be 3 as well. So we roll these, a 3 and a 3. Go figure. Now we get to choose what order they go in since they tied. And I think we're going to have Patches go first and Picket go second. And they can go in between above that 3 right there. So that is our initiative order right there, all ready to go. The next thing we have to do is figure out where we're going to put these guys. We can put them, they're both melee characters, anywhere we want in these 4. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put Picket here and Patches here. Now we'll talk about maybe strategy and reasons why later on, but let's just get through the mechanics of a battle first. Now the next thing we want to do before battle starts, now there's actually a whole battle sequence listed on the back of the reference sheet. We've done the we're in the before battle now. So we want to take Picket's sheet, look right under the beginner build strat, and they all have innate abilities. His innate ability is at the start of battle. So innate, he has a shield wall. Picket may roll all of his defense die and place rolled defense die in active slots. Bones cannot be placed in the backup plan. We'll talk more about that in a second, but what it comes down to right now is he has 3 defense die. He gets to put up his shields before we even get into the battle outright. So he's going to roll those. Now all succeeded. If he'd had a bones, that just means it would have gone back to the tray. However, that is a fantastic roll. He gets to slot those in his active slot right here. So 2, 2, and 1. That's great. Great way to start. All right, we are ready to start our battle. So this is the round counter. We're on round 1, fight. So we look, and the first one to go is our Griffin yearling here in yellow. And it's easier to see, not from straight down, you can see is yellow. So he is melee, so he wants to get adjacent to one of the characters. Now, adjacent is only orthogonal. It is not diagonal at all. So he wants to get here so that he can well on Picket. Now, each baddie has 2 movement points. So he can move up to 2 spaces, and he always prioritizes getting to the closest one if he can. So he's going to go there. He did it. Now he rolls 2 attack dice, which is not good. Attack dice have a 1 or 2 or a miss on them. So we're going to roll those against Picket, and he rolls a 1 and a 1. So we're just going to take it out of this 2. It shield blocks it, and we just take one of the ones out of our active. Otherwise, we'd have to take the damage. He's gone. Next is going to be our mischievous Goblin Sandbagger. Now, he's ranged, so he doesn't have to move next to anybody. In fact, he can sit right there and shoot anywhere on the map. So he's going to do that. He's going to roll 1 attack and 1 defense. Now, he does have a target, and the target is in this target area. There's either going to be, if you look at the clay golem, there's a strong man there and a regular person there. So it's going to be the weakest character. Both of them are at full health and equal, so 6. Neither one is the weakest. The one with the less health would be equal. So we get to pick, and we're going to pick Picket right here because he has shields. So he rolls 1 and a bones. So we're going to take the 1 here, and the bones activates his mischief 1, which means he knocks a die out. So actually, let's take that back. We're going to take 1 here, knock that down to 1, and then he's going to knock a die out, so that leaves us with 1 there. So mischief just takes a die, or takes whatever the number is, that many die out of your active slot. So that's his turn. He has done his mischief, and now Patches gets to go. Now Patches does have an innate ability as well, but it starts at the beginning of each turn during battle. At the start of his turn, Patches heals himself for 1 HP. So if he had lost any, this would be a place where he could grab it back. He doesn't have that yet, but I'm sure we're going to get to use it. So when it's a Gearloc's turn, they kind of have, for lack of a better term, actions. The number of actions they have is determined by their dexterity. Actions are rolling dice and movement. So the best way I've learned to show this is to gather up all of his possibilities. So he has 2 attack die. He has 1 defense. He has this med kit. So those are his options at the moment, plus movement. Well, he's a melee character. He can't hit anybody right now, so he's going to have to at least use 1 for movement. So we're going to move straight up right here. That means that we only have 2 dexterity left, so he's only going to get to roll 2. Nobody needs to be healed yet, so we can just leave that behind. And I'm not really worried about him on defense yet, so we're not going to roll that. We're just going to straight up attack and try to take out this mischievous Goblin Sandbagger. Now, you do have to pick your, before you roll your dice, you do have to pick your target. I am able to pick both. And speaking of targets, this dude had a keyword of flight. So once he attacked, he takes flight. You use one of the status die that has that on it. Put that on top. He is now flying out of our reach. Next turn, he's going to swoop down, and this will come off. So he's only able to be attacked every other turn. So he's untargetable. But we're going to target, instead of the Lashback Pup, we're going to target the Mischievous Goblin Sandbagger. Roll 2 dice against that, and ooh, 2 hits. He has 2 health, so he is out of here. Put him in our pile here. Put that back up here, and we get to take that out of the initiative track. Great turn. Happy for that. And during your first couple games, I just keep all of his potential dice over here on his ready area. So now that's Patch's turn for Picket. He does not get to gain any health, but he has dexterity of 3. So all of his options are going to be, he has a defense of 3. Well, there's 1, 2, and this one up here is 3. So this does count towards your total. He does have an attack of 1. And he has this lovely stand ground die. So we're going to attack. We can't attack this. He's untargetable. So we're going to attack this Lashback Pup right there. And what do I want to do? I don't think we're going to actually use an attack die. Instead, I think we're going to roll these 3 dice right here. So this will go back to his ready area. And we'll roll all 3 of these. And we rolled really well. We have 2 that we can slot in his active slot. So this one has a heart on it with that infinite symbol. Now at the end of a battle, everything comes out of any slots they're still in and goes back to, these will go back to the defense and attack tray, and our skills usually go back down to our skill slots. So that they have to be re-rolled every battle. But with that infinite symbol, we can lock this in. So let's lock it in our locked area. And that is until we remove it or something forces it to remove, it stays there from battle to battle. So this means at the beginning of his turn, he gets to heal 1 health, which is great. It's basically Patch's innate ability. Usually it takes several times to roll that because there's only 2 of those on the whole die. So I didn't get any bones. I got really well, actually rolled really well, but I didn't get to attack. So that is Picket's turn. Now our Lashback Pup gets to go. He rolls 1 attack die. He's going to go the weakest. They're both the same strength. He doesn't have to move. He can attack either one legally. So he's going to attack right here on Picket. We get to choose since they're of equal health. Otherwise, he would go for whichever one is the weakest. So he rolls, he gets a bone, nothing happens. It's just a straight up miss. Fantastic. Okay, then we have this clay golem. So he has to figure out where he's going to go because he can't get here or here. So he gets 2 movement points. So he's going to move 1, 2, because the only legal space he can get to hit us is right here. He can only move 2, so that's the best he can do. No attack. I'm okay with that. So that is 1 whole round. We flip this to round 2. Now it's a 6-sided dice. So when we get to round 5, after round 5, we flip it and there's round 6. So starting round 6, every round, everyone takes 1 true damage. True damage is just a damage that can't be blocked by defense. Everybody has to take it. So that can actually play into your strategy. Keeps this from going on forever, but also it can be a strategy because a lot of times, especially in these early ones, you can just try to outlast the opponents. Okay, we start back again with the Yearling Griffin. He's going to swoop down, and he's going to hit for 2. This will come off because he's kind of landed to hit us, and he attacks for 2 attack dice. He's going after Picket, and he gets 2 hits, so 2 of these are going to be used up to defend that. Then Patches gets to go. He doesn't have any lost health. He has 3 that he can work with. He's going after this Lashback Pup. So he's going to do his 2 attack and 1 defense. Pretty straightforward. Oh, he rolls a nice defense. 2 defense. We're going to slot there, and he gets 2 attack right here. Now you can resolve these in any order that you want. I'm going to do the defense first. So he's going to do, this dude has 3 health, he's going to take 2 away. He's down to 1, but he's still alive at the end of the round. That means that he lashes back for whatever the number is, 1 point. Now all of these are keywords are on the back of your adventure guide. So you don't have to memorize these, but you will after you play it several times. So he's going to lash back for 1, which means that he can block that lashback for 1 health. Okay, Picket gets to go. He heals 1, he doesn't need 2. He has 3, and we're going to take out this guy before, or try to take out this guy before he can take flight again, because that's what he'll do on the next turn. So we're going to roll those 3 dice right here. That's going to be our dexterity of 3, 1 attack, 2 defense, and fantastic. We rolled all bones. So as far as that's concerned, it's a whiff. We totally whiffed on that. He jumped up, jumped back, whatever, and we can't do anything about that. However, bones are not bad things. We have this thing at the bottom called a backup plan. And every time you roll a bones, you can choose to slot it into that area. Now what's cool, several things are cool, this doesn't take away. So the next turn, I still can roll 2 attack, or 1 attack and 2 defense, because this doesn't take away from what's available to me. These are just extra out of play. But the more you build them up, the more you are able to do. So the backup plan is when things go long, we can do an extra action. So Shield Bash with 2, we have to spend 2. We don't have an ability for 1 on either Gearloc, but at 2 we can do a Shield Bash for Picket. Remove all defensive die, including the newly rolled active slots and lock slots, and do total number of removed defense in damage to the target. So we can hit them, slam our shield into them, and do damage. Right now I only have 1 that I can do. So I'm not too keen on that right now. Well, I could do it because my target is him. If I targeted him, I would do it in a heartbeat because he only needs 1 to kill him off. But 1 there is not enough. I'd like to build it up a little bit more. So we do have 3. Do-over may immediately reroll any number of rolled dice. Well, I can't do that because I have no dice left over from putting those there. So let's just live with that right now. I'm okay with it. And we'll go on to the lashback pup, who's going to attack. Now both have the same. He still has a defense, but so does he. So I think we're going to let him attack Patches. So he rolls 1 against Patches, and he totally whiffs. He's a pup. Just give him a break. And finally, we have the Clay Golem. He's going to move 2. 1, 2. He still can't reach us, so we get another turn that is great for us. So, on to round 3. These move really fast once you get going. We have our swoopty dude. He's going to attack for 2 and take flight. We'll go ahead and put that on there so we don't forget. He's attacking Picket, of course. He hits for 3. So we'll take 1 out, and we'll have to take 2 damage. Oh, it's the first blood we've taken. Okay, then we have Patches. He doesn't need to heal. He wants to attack that pup again. I mean, that pup's really not doing us any harm yet, but why give him the chance, right? So he can roll 3. I'm thinking, let's go ahead and roll these 2 action dice. Let's leave the defense there, and let's roll his med kit. So, this med kit, we're going to aim to try to heal him up a little bit. So we roll those. He gets 2 hits against the lashback pup. That's the first thing we're going to do. That takes him out. He's gone. Cool beans. And that is the purple die. And so he spent those, and he could heal Picket for 1 heart. Now you can always choose not to use a die once you've rolled it. You can roll it, see the results, and then decide not to use it. That's really cool. I like that. But you know what? Let's go ahead and use it. Why not? I mean, 3's a better option, but when he uses his die, this is immediate, and when you look on their sheets, there is, beside each one, there is when it can be used. So Heal is immediate, I. So we're going to heal, pick it up for 1. And that actually gets exhausted. So we're going to put it over here. It usually goes here, but I've got it kind of backwards. Let's put it over here. Can't be used again in this combat. Okay, that's Patches. And then we go to Picket. Picket gets to heal for 1. And that die just stays there. That's just ability he has from now on. Now he can't target here. Whoops. He can't target here. So I think what he's going to do, I think he's going to move down 1. And we're going to start going after this clay golem. So remember, we don't have any defense or attack dice locked up here. And you can't lock attack, but defense die, we don't have any there. So we get our full regiment of 3 defense, 1 attack. We can roll 3 of them. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll, well, since I've already got shield bash, I may as well go ahead and roll just defense. So let's do that. Let's roll defense, and we get a 2, a 1, and we get another bone. So let's look at benevolence. For Picket, Benevolence says, heal Picket for 2 HP. Also add a 2 defense die to his active slot. Well, he doesn't need any healing, and I don't want to lose that many dice yet. So we're just going to, because I can do Shield Bash right now, and I think I will actually. I'm going to do Shield Bash, so I will use those 2, and these just kind of track down, fall, if you will. So now I still have 2 for Shield Bash. So all of these come out, and we do that much damage that we removed. And if we had any that we hadn't locked, let's say we had gotten to roll another one, that would have gone in there as well. We don't have to lock them. So we're going to do 3 damage against this dude right here. 1, 2, 3. Now his special ability is Break. And what Break means is that if you use any attack on him, so if I'd rolled an attack die and gotten a 1 and used it on him, then my equipment will break and this die would be exhausted out of play. But with a Shield Bash, that's a skill, that's not going to come into play. I don't break anything with that. So that's a way to get around his break, which is one of the reasons I kept him. Yes, he's high on health, but this Shield Bash can get through a lot of things. Okay, so now the Clay Golem decides he wants to hit back with 1. He's attacking Picket. I don't have any defense, so I'm going to lose 1 health from Picket. Alright, round 4. We go with this dude. He wants to attack the weakest, which is Picket, so he's going to move there, swoop down, attack with 2 attack die, and he hits for 2. Again, I have no defense. 1, 2. So that is that. Patches gets to go. There's nothing to heal. He's going to move 1. He has 2 dexterity left. He's going to roll 2 attack dice against this Griffin. He has 2 health. And we do 4 damage. Fantastic. You never roll that when you actually need that much damage. So, he's gone. And his die is removed. Patches gets to go. He heals 1. And we're going to try for the same thing, except we're going to roll all 3 defense dice. And we're going to do a Shield Bash on him again. And I get 2, and I believe he has 2 health. I don't have to lock that in. I will lock that one in. He has 2 health exactly. So Shield Bash of 2 means that this Clay Golem is gone. Yay! I'm sure I'm going to get Nintendo copywriting me on that. So that's a battle. We are victorious. We succeed. So let's clean all of this up and we'll go to our rewards. Alrighty, the first thing you'll notice is we've returned all of the attack and defense dice. We have returned our initiative dice. We're going to pop this back to 1 for the next time we have to battle. And Patches came back at full health. However, you do not heal after a battle. There's no automatic healing, so Picket is still down 2 health. And we'll have to do something about that soon. But first, the spoils. So we did this choice, so we're going to get 1 training point, 1 progress, another training point, and 1 loot. So 2 training points per. Now notice that this die did not go back here, but this one came from exhausted back, ready for next time. So each one gains a loot, and so we'll draw this one here and this one here, and they can hold up to 4 loot. Now some loot can be heavy and restrict that, but each Gearloc can hold up to 4 loot. I like looking at the loot first to see what that may change what I do with my training points. So we have for picket, mechanical assistance. Increase your dex by 3 for this turn. Okay, well that can give us some extra actions. That's not bad. And then we have stone hammer. Add 4 to an action die result during your lockpick attempt. Okay, that's not bad, not bad. So both are single use items. It says it up here. Some are ongoing, some may have up here a little arc that has different uses. But this is a single use item, and so is the stone hammer. So I think we're going to go back to stats and use the first point to up his dexterity, so that we can start rolling maybe defense and attack. And we will up that to 4. And here for picket, I think we're going to actually up his attack, but we have to train for it. So he's going to roll 2 attack dice and hope not to fail. Oh, he succeeded. So this goes up to 3, or up to 2, 3 in all. So I think we're going to grab another skill for each, and it said, remember, choose the captain profession. We may not stick through it, but it's a good profession. Go from stand ground, because we have that die, to, I think we're going to go, we can go to shield form or sword advance. I think we're going to go for shield form. So we're going to need to get die number 2, and it shows you all the faces. It has 3 reusable bones, a movement, free movement, and 2 shield sides. So we're going to grab die number 2 here, and that's going to go in our shield form slot. And like this one, it can be locked permanently up there, except our backup plan will pull it out. For patches, I think we're going to look at a different profession. And we have, I think, 2 really good options right now. Fast hands would be the next in the combat medic profession. It's going to add a multiplier to that health roll. But another route we could go is we could get nutrients and just have another healing die. And what that does is it can allow us, it can either heal us for 2 or 3, that's great. It can give us 1 loot, that's also great. It can give him a double bones, which can get him to heal a Gearloc as is. Or it can get these little symbols right here. So if we look, nutrients is number 5, so we're going into a different category. So it's got a loot, a heal 3, and then it has this little reroll symbol right there, which means that we can reroll, if we roll these together, we can reroll this as many times as that number is. So we can reroll it, I believe, up to 2 times. Yeah. So we can re-roll it up to 2 times trying to get a higher number. So this is not a bad die at all. So I think we're going to go with that. Both nutrients and toxins has the star. We can choose either one. We chose nutrients. So that's their last training point for each of them. Now we can't forget our progress. So we move up to there. So now we finish with our next step. We've done new day, new encounter. We succeeded. So we did dividing, training, log progress, so we go to recovery, and this says lock picking. We have no locks to pick. Loot trading, I think we're going to leave them with what they have. We have individual options. So now we're going to do, for picket, he's going to choose rest and recover. This allows him to heal to full HP for the next battle. Don't like going into a battle with half HP, even with the healer in the party. For picket, well, he can search for better loot. His loot's not bad. So, and you roll 6 attack dice. For each bones you roll, reveal a loot card. You may keep 1. So there's always a slim chance that you don't reveal a new loot. that you actually lose it. I'm okay right now. I think we're going to scout ahead because if we can, I'd like to scout that 5-point baddie. So these guys, they were all 1 points. They're just going to get discarded back here with, what was it? The Goblin Bomber that we scouted. So remember I said on day 3, if we have to do a battle, we're going to start pulling a 5-point baddie. So we're going to scout 1 to 3 is 1, 4 and 5 is 5, and 6 is 20. So 50-50 chance. And we got a 3. So we get to scout a 1-point baddie. And we have, oh, another Griffin Yearling. There's 2 of these in this stack. We know he's not terrible. Let's keep him up front. His flight's annoying, but not that bad. Okay, and that is our second day. So we're moving on to day 3. Draw the last of the known encounter cards. Everything after that is randomly shuffled in. We have Crossing the Ciberon. The Ciberon River, a glistening vein of trade running the length of the door, playfully beckons as it shimmers in the daylight up ahead. But with so few bridges in these parts, this crossing is an obvious spot for enemy scouts and traps. A journey of this importance leaves only 2 options. Tucking the ears and trying to blend in is risky but efficient. A boat at dusk carries less chance of discovery but requires business with the Molnor, a trading syndicate with their own set of drawbacks. So, we're going to make a choice. Tuck your ears and walk like a commoner would give us 1 progress, 1 training point each, and then whatever's down here if we succeed. So 2 progress points. Oh, that's fantastic. We would be up to 4 progress. That's fantastic. But you know what? I'm really not in that much of a hurry. So in that case, you roll a d6 for each party member, so twice. On a 1 to 2, your party is spotted. Find the first tyrant encounter in your deck and place it on top. Shuffle the remaining cards to keep them underneath. Now right now we have a chance that we may never see that tyrant encounter card. So I'd like to keep it that way. So our second choice is Hire the Molnor. And if we do that, these are both peaceful. If we do that, we get to grab a Trove Loot for each one. And the symbols are down here if you ever need a reference. So each Gearloc for the purple, each Gearloc draws 1 Trove Loot. So that sounds very good. Like there's no drawbacks. Except down here, shuffle the special encounter Molnor Traders into your encounter deck. So this brings the Tyrant card up to the next card we have to deal with. That's not good. We're drawing attention to ourselves. I don't like that. Here we can shuffle another special encounter card, a specific one, called Molnor Traders into our deck. But we get a Trove Loot out of it, so I think we're going to do that. So we take the encounter deck. It doesn't matter where things are now because we're going to shuffle them. And the Tyrant encounter is coming up pretty soon anyway. Maybe we can get it further back. Just shuffle them up real quick. So we don't know where that Molnor Traders and the Tyrant and all of that is. All right, put that in front and didn't look at that. So now we get 1 progress point, boop, and we can grab a Trove Loot for each. So a Trove Loot to you and a Trove Loot to you. Now, unlike the regular loot, these stay face down until we unlock them. And you'll notice that there are different numbers on each one. Actually, there's different even pictures on each one. So we have to get 3 lever, 4 trip, and 5 force to unlock this one, and 3, 3, and 6 for that one. Ooh, 6 is hard to get. So that's it. We've done that phase. Now we go to the recovery phase, and now as a group, we can do some lock picking. So lock picking means that we grab these extra dice here that are the bronze, gold, and silver dice, and then the one with different faces on it. Picket's going to start trying to unlock this. So you have to go in order. We're going to have to get 3 lever. So the L is lever, And we roll all of these. And we're looking for 3L. We have it right here. I'm just going to grab a D6 and put that for 1 progress on that. Now, when you succeed, we have to lose a die. Now, the reason, if you look, these are bronze, gold, and silver. So the dice that are the same colors have a better chance of hitting that requirement. So L is more common and higher on this die than it is the other one. So we're going to lose that one because the next one we want to have a better chance at more trip on the gold die. So we succeeded, we keep going. Now if we didn't like our first roll, the first roll, each time we try to lockpick, we get to re-roll if we don't like it. But I like that one. 4 trip. All right, we have 1 lever and 1 force, no trip, and we have this, which is a circle with a +1 on it. Now all of these symbols are right here in the Art of Lockpicking. So this one is save +1, give an action die +1, and do not exhaust it if it is used on the lock. So that would have been great for the last one because then we wouldn't have had to exhaust it. But +1 to force and +1 to lever doesn't really do anything for us. So we failed at that. Our 1 success stays here, and on the next time we get this die back. So Patches wants to do the same thing. We'll put a die out here. He needs 3 lever as well. He did not get any lever, so we're going to use our reroll, and you have to reroll them all. So he did get 3 lever here, and he did get this +1. So we're going to use this to give him 4 levers so that he doesn't have to exhaust that die. Love it when that works out. He's looking for 3 trip as well. And he got no trip, but he got this symbol right here, which is reroll. Reroll 1 action die, also the intuition die, which is what that's called. So reroll that die. So we're going to pick, he's on gold, so we're going to pick this gold one and reroll the intuition die, which can be beneficial to us. He gets 3 trip, which is enough. We're going to add 1 to it again, and this doesn't get exhausted. Oh, that's so great. So he has 2 out of his 3 successes. However, the next one is 6 force. That is really hard to get, even with all the dice. So we have no force. We could add 1, but there's no Fs. So he just fails at that one, and he can try again next time. That's it. That's lockpicking. Loot trading, if we want to do any of that, I think we're still good. Oh, he could add a 4 to an action die result during a lockpicking attempt. Well, he still didn't get the T, so we'll hang on to that. We'll hang on to that. We got to remember that there. Let's put that like this so I remember. Use that. Okay, so we have loot trading and then individual options. I think we're going to go with Scout. We're definitely not going to search for better loot here. That's going to come in handy. Okay. So we're going to scout. So picket, I'm still looking for that 5-point enemy, and he rolls a 5. So we get to look at the 5-point enemy, and it is, ooh, wow, Griffin Howler, 5 health, 5 initiative, so he's fast, 3 attack. See, these jump up big time. He is melee, but he has dive, he has flight. We've seen flight. Dive means that he looks for the weakest character and can just kind of jump across the board to him. And then Signal 1 means he can bring in more enemies. Oh, that's not good. I think I've got to put him in the back. I think I've got to discard him. So he goes back there. Patches is going to scout as well, and he rolls a 5. That's fantastic. He can look at another 5-point buddy. Oh my goodness, are you kidding me? Another one. Well, we know what we're going to do with him. Put him in the back. All right. So we don't know what's coming, but we know it's not going to be a Griffin Howler. We know it's not going to be those because there's 2 of those in the stack. So we have done everything and ready to go on to a new day. But I think we're going to stop there. You've seen how to use training points, how to get skills, how to get new stats, how to train attack and defense. You've seen how a battle works, how baddies work, and baddie queue. There's a little bit more to see, but that is the main gist of the game. Now it's just how far can we get and can we actually win? That's always the question with this game. So next time we'll move even closer to Drillin and maybe see if we can take him on and see more of the game. If you want to be notified of that, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell icon so that you're notified when the next video goes live. If you enjoyed this content, think about hitting that like button. I really enjoyed this game and I really am so excited to continue to share this with you. So I hope you'll tune in next time and see if we can defeat Drillin. This has been the first episode of our first game of Too Many Bones, and until next time, thanks for watching and happy gaming.